Right guys, welcome back to my channel. Now you're thinking, what stone? What stone is possibly going to change his life? Not save his life, but that as well. I'll explain in a second, guys. I was out digging in the garden about 2 weeks ago, and my back went. And when I say it went, it was I couldn't move. So it put me out of action for 2 weeks. And it steadily got worse and other things developed, and in the end I realised that it was going to have to be a trip down the hospital. So off I go, early in the morning. This is, I think I suffered this for 12 days. 12 days of just literally in constant pain. Lucky enough I already had some drugs from my previous episodes of what I'm about to explain to you. And so I basically just laid on the sofa and suppositories and extreme high dosages of painkillers, which I wouldn't recommend. It's not recommendable, but when you're in that much pain, I didn't really care. And from past experiences, I've known that I've gone down the hospital, I've waited a long time and been sent home because there's nothing they can really do. So this time I thought, you know what, I'm just going to sit it out and try and fix it myself. But after 12 days, I was in trouble. I'd literally run out of all my medication, all my old medication. I know you shouldn't use old medication, but believe me, it saved me a world of pain. And what I'm talking about, guys, is kidney stones. You get this numbing pain, and then, because what's happening, it's coming from your kidneys and it wants to get into your bladder. And there's like a little vein that goes there, and it has to travel. That's where all it discharges into your bladder, and then you can empty it from your bladder. I don't know what you call it, but basically it's the vessel that goes from your kidneys to your bladder. And what had happened, the stone, off it goes on its journey, and it gets trapped at the top, and obviously the hole's too small for it to travel through. And what will happen is, like, your body starts shutting down. It pulsates. You can feel it. And normally it ends with you being sick. You're normally given about 15 minutes, and then it starts up again until it pushes itself all the way through into your bladder. Now this can take up a couple of hours to days, which again I've been through. But this was by far the worst. It took so long, and in the end, I just gave up. I thought, this is not going to happen. Like I say, I was running out of medication. So I felt it going from my back, and then you can feel it travelling from your back, and then it slowly works its way to the front to your kind of groin area, and that way you know that it's nearly all the way through, and it just needs to pop out into your bladder, and then from your bladder, it obviously, use your imagination, you know where it comes out. And I just wasn't feeling it this time. I just felt as though something was wrong. So in the end, I said to my wife, I think I need to go to the hospital because I'd run out of drugs. I had one more suppository and maybe a day's worth more of my drugs. And that was the plan all along. I knew as soon as I got down to the last bit of what I had, it was time to go down to the hospital. And bearing in mind, I've been down there many times with this, like kidney stones, and so I know the procedure. So in we go. Straight away you're greeted with £18 for the day. Now I knew we was going to be in there. The car park was going to cost £18. I knew that anyway, so that wasn't a problem. But what a piss take. You're going there to get fixed, and straight away you're going to have to pay that sort of money, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. You'd do anything just to get this out. I still think it's a piss take. So in we go, we pay the 18 quid, and we've gone in there early-ish, 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 a.m. I would like to have got there a bit early. We got up at 6, but by the time I got there a bit late. and we've walked in, and we're figuring that we've kind of got it right. The car park's filling up, and not as busy as what it can get. Seen it a lot worse. Going to the hospital, it's starting to fill up. It looked like all the workers were going in, and I guess it was most of the workers. And then we finally get to our section, and as you walk down to the corridor, now it hits you. You think, oh my God, there's people sleeping in the corridors. Not many, there's a few scattered here and there, so we're still not panicking. And then we make our way to where we've been told to go, and you look up on the wall and it's saying 45-minute wait, and that's unheard of, like, in this day and age. So we're looking at each other thinking maybe, just maybe, like we're going to dodge a bullet here and only be in and out and gone, or get to see someone and get treated for it, but we know at the back of our heads, like, it's 45 minutes, there's no way. So we was there literally 10 minutes, we get signed in, we get pushed through to another department, and this carried on for the next hour or two. You'd go to somewhere else, wait for an hour, go see someone else, and then in the end you end up in maybe the last room before the main room that you go into. So we've ended up, say 2 hours we've been there, we've ended up in this one room before we get to the main room where you're going to get treated, and things are going to, the decisions are going to get made. And you're looking around, and there's not many people in there. There's probably about 10 people. Now, them 10 people, like me, probably 5 people, because they had their partners there. So, and we're all sitting there, start talking to people, and then you find out that they've been there since 2 o'clock in the morning, the previous. So they're 6 hours ahead of us. And you're thinking, okay, and there's no way, because we've got there at that time, like, that you're going to do 6 hours plus, like. So we've accepted that, and then you start realising people that are coming out, they're telling you how long they've waited, and it's 9 hours plus. And you're thinking, oh my God. So you wait and wait and wait, and then you think you're going to get somewhere, and then the room starts filling up. Now it's like 12 o'clock, say 1 o'clock, and the room starts really filling up. The corridor starts filling up. There's people everywhere. People start moaning. And it's like, it's terrible. It really is. And it's a place where people are not well, and you can tell. And there's a lot of moaning going on. People wanting to get sick, but there's no way they're going to queue jump. I think the staff have seen it all, and they're not going to bow down to any peer pressure. They're just going to go, okay, you're not the only one suffering. Just go over there. If you're going to be sick, basically sort yourself out. Like, it's like dog eat dog. And you just have to sit there and suffer it, which is fine. I know, like, they're put under a tremendous amount of pressure. I don't think it's the guys' fault who work at the hospital, it's the system itself. So after literally, let's say 8 hours of waiting, I've ended up in the last main room, and this is where all the sofas are, and, like, well, not sofas, but the comfy bed, like, armchairs that you can recline. And there's all these people passed out. You can tell they're on their last knockings. They've had enough. Like, they're absolutely shattered, these people, and they're trying to get a little bit of sleep. And there's a few little chairs going here and there. And this is the first time that we've been into this room. And so she walks us round, and we walk straight past this room, and we go into a curtain where there's nowhere to sit, and he pulls a curtain across, and he assesses me, and he went, I can't remember the exact words. You've got to remember, guys, I was delusional by this time. I was like, okay, I wasn't taking any notice. My partner was answering all the questions. I just wanted to sit down and like relax or have some medication. I wasn't too bad because I'd had my own medication. I was still taking it while I was there. And I would say from walking into that room, we literally walked round the corner, spent 2 minutes, and then he walked us straight back out into the main waiting room that we was in. And of course, we've lost our chair. We've lost our seating. And so we've had to literally go back out into the corridor, sit with all the other people right down the end. And it was just chaos. And we probably spent another 2 hours before we got called back into that room. And this time we stayed there, and it was like, okay, like, this is what needs to be done. And we started finding out like a few answers, like what was going to happen. But I started to look around and notice things, and my wife had already said to me out in the corridor there was, as she counted, there was 20 people. And you get to know, like you understand, like you can tell someone who's sick a mile off. You can see it, like they've got their heads down. They're not acting like they're sick guys, like I was. And then you get like the people that are mentally not well, and they come in and scream the play. There was a few of those which like again I feel sorry for them, but just because they're screaming their heads off and they was being abusive and all that, they quickly didn't last long. They got like shuffled out, or probably got put into another room and got treated straight away. Who knows? But they needed it, like, you know what I mean. But what really pissed me off is that there was a family, and I don't know if a family. They were, I think they were family. There was about 20 of them, all sitting in the corridor. Now I would say they took up about 40% of this corridor because it was really narrow, didn't have many seats, and there was one man, that old gentleman, that wasn't well. You could tell he was standing up weirdly, and he was the one standing up, but he had the wristband on. He looked grey as anything. He didn't look well. And then they had like five grown ass men around him, all the wives, all the youngsters, the teenagers, and then all the little kids. So there was 20, like she counted. And no one went out there and said, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you here? Because, like, admittedly, he probably would need his wife there, or his eldest son or daughter. That would be fine, like, to look after him. So that was what really pissed me off. And then we went into the second room, and then there was a family of four sitting in there in the comfortable chairs. And one was ill, you could tell it, like I say, straight away. Then you had the wife and the two kids all sitting around his chair in comfortable chairs, while you could look around and you could see people standing up suffering, like literally sweating, suffering, including me. But I was okay. I'm a grown ass man. I wasn't in that much trouble, but it was very uncomfortable. And nothing was said. And then you get to the point like where you know people's kind of situation because you spoke to them like all through the night, and some of them had enough, and they said like, because what they do, they stick like a catheter in you, where they put the needle and they tape it all to your arm until you're ready to have the fluids and stuff. And some of them had just had enough, like they just wanted to go home. And one couple in particular, they'd had enough. They'd been there probably 10 hours, like old couple, like elderly, like 75, I think she says she was. And like she'd fainted. She was an ex-nurse, and she kind of called the shot. She said they're probably going to do like a scan, which they did, and she just wanted the results, and she probably knew what they was going to say. They couldn't find nothing, and like she said, I've had enough. I just want to go home. And they sat there for 4 hours waiting for someone to come round and just pull the needle out of their arm. But in the end, like they ended up staying because it was such a long time that I'm saying 4 hours, but it took hours because they wanted to go, but they kept on moaning about it. He kept on going into the nurses, and he kept on asking. But these nurses are literally running around like headless chickens, and there's nothing you can do. You know what I mean? Feel sorry for them. So yeah, that was the thing, and it was just chaos. It was chaos in there. And with my own situation, I'd finally got the chair. I'd finally got the comfortable chair. I'm sitting down there. My wife got one of the plastic chairs and brought them in and sat down like in a corner. She's kind of tried to make herself as small as possible, not being anyone's way. It didn't take up one of the comfortable. There was a few chairs left that were still there, and now you're getting like the changeover for the nurses, and so all the doctors and nurses are changing over. So now it feels like you have to start all over again, and it takes a good hour, trust me, for anyone to come over and see you, which is fine. Like, you know, you're probably in the best place now. You're there to be seen. You know it won't be that long. And finally, a doctor comes over to me and he said, "We haven't got no beds." I've had the scan like for my stones, and obviously they didn't need to tell me. I already knew. He said you've got a blockage in that pipe, And he said, it's big. He said, the stone in there is big. And he said, with my experience, due to the experience, he said, it's very rare that a stone like that will come out. Because as it gets near to the bladder, that is where they tend to get stuck. That is the smallest part. And that is why it won't open. And you're going to be in a lot of trouble. We've monitored your kidneys and they're starting to play up. And I could tell like I was in a bit of trouble, and I just wanted to get it sorted. And he said, what we're going to do, he said, you can go home, but we'll book you in for an emergency operation in the morning. But you can go home, but what we want to do first is give you some like medication just to see if we can push it through. Like if we can open up that tract, like where the stone's blocked in, like they can give you medicine for that, and it loosens it. But little did they know, I'd already been taking it. Because like I say, from previous episodes of kidney stones and all that, you're giving, like, it's called contrary flow, and what it does, it just loosens up like all the pipes inside you, and it makes everything like flow a little bit easier. And I had loads of those, and I'd been taking them, like you take them one a day, and I'd already taken one that day. But I didn't answer back to him, is because he said, we're going to put you on a drip, and let's just monitor you for a couple of hours, and then you can go home, and then early in the morning you can come back. I said, that's fine. So when they come out with this, they come out with these little dolly like trolley things, and they attach the fluid to it, and they hook you all up. And I'm looking at this fluid, and I'm thinking to myself, this is something I've had before. It's just fluids. It's just replacing all your fluids and keeping everything like, like if you're a bit like dehydrated, which I wasn't. I was drinking plenty of fluid, and I half knew what they'd done to me. Like an idiot, I sat there and just didn't say nothing. Then a doctor come over, and then I caught him, and I started asking questions. And he went, no, that's going to take 4 hours, and it's just for your fluids. And I said, but I've been drinking plenty. I'm not dehydrated. It's not been a problem. And I was told that it was going to open up, like, And he went, no, like, I don't know who said that. I don't know why they said that. But and bearing in mind, I'd already done 12 hours. I just wanted to go home at that time. So I was there for another 2 because I'd been halfway through with these bags being emptied into me. So they put 2 bags on, and it takes 4 hours, 2 hours each. And what happened, like, so the first one runs out. So you go to the nurse, like, the bag's empty, it needs to be swapped over, okay. 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes, like, you know what I mean? 40 minutes later, they come over. So what would have taken 4 hours is now we're looking at 5 hours, guys, you know what I mean? Which is a bit frustrating, like, for something that for them took them like 10 seconds. Again, I get it, they don't stop, they've got 1,000,001 things to do, but it's frustrating. So they finally get the bag, I do all my time, and then the doctor comes back and says, right, we've given you the fluids, this, that and the other. He said, but there's no beds. There's no beds available. What do you want to do? Do you want to sit in the chair and wait, and then we'll book you in, and then you can have your operation? Now, by this time, I'd felt another pain, and I don't know, the gods were on my side. The gods, thank you, gods. But I'd felt another sensation, and I know from previous that this stone was almost past. I could just feel it. I knew something was happening because I was getting pain in a different area, in my groin area, and that was telling me that the stone was near enough inside my bladder. But I wasn't quite sure, and I kept on saying to the doctor, I'm not too sure, like, I want it. And he wasn't very happy with me. He said, look, you're here, you might as well get it done. We'll book you in. And yeah, I'm basically going to have a stent put inside me, you know where, guys, which is thank God they put you out. And because I've had it done before, the worst thing about all of that is that you have to go back weeks later, and then they have to pull it out, and you have to be awake for that, and it's embarrassing, guys. You have to lay there naked, but there's women all around me, and I'm not that guy. And I was like, please, just, in the end, it's like, just get on with it, get it out. But they make you drink so much water, because you've got to hold up your bladder. And then he starts doing the procedure, and you just feel as though you want to go to the toilet. And how I never went to the toilet while he was doing that procedure, and it was one of the worst experiences I've ever had. I was like, oh my God. And I swore that I'd never go back and experience that again. But there I was, facing it for the next day. And all I could think about was like the weeks ahead of when I had to go back and have that pulled out. And that was what I wasn't looking forward to. I was like, Jesus Christ. So I was saying, like, can't we give it another day? And he's, well, not really. And my wife was not very happy with me, because she was like, no, you're here, you're going to get it done. And in the end, I just relented and said, okay. And he said, this is another kick in the teeth, guys. He said, the thing is, the tablet that opens you up and like gives it a chance to go through your system. It says that all the chemists now and the shop in the hospital's closed, and we can't give you any of it. But little did they know I already had it on me, which was lucky, wasn't it? Because like I was saying to him, so you want me to go home? You wanted that 4 hours ago, previous to that, like, and they knew all day long. Someone could have come along and give me that anyway, because they knew I was suffering. No one at any time give me any medication apart from a couple of aspirins. Like, you know what I mean? That's all you get. At any time did I receive, even when they found out that the stone was blocked, that they knew, like say after 8 hours of me being down there was a massive stone there. And at no time did they come and give me this opening up tablet, which I'd already taken, by the way. So, like, again, not good, not good. And after a little bit of to and fro in, we had a conversation, and I said, I think I've already got that, I've already taken it. And yeah, we worked it out, and he said, yeah, like, that's the one, and you've already had it. He said, okay. He said, well, what I need you to do now is just go home, try and get some sleep, and then I'll see you back here at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I was determined that I didn't want it. I didn't want this operation, guys. So after getting home, I wasn't suffering anymore. The pain had gone from my side and my back. Obviously, I had pain because of all the damage it had done, trying all the 12 days of just laying on my side, waiting for this to pass. And it was bad. But I was on strong like medication. I self-medicate, which is absolutely the most stupidest thing to do. But like I said, I was only taking drugs that I took from the previous kidney stones that I had. And I knew that you could only like take the tablets every 4 hours, or a suppository. What I'd normally do, I'd take the tablets every 4 hours, and then it'd get to maybe the night time where I was absolutely wrecked. And then I thought, well, I can't take it anymore, and I was allowed one suppository a day. And so I'd take that suppository, and because I'd been all day in agony, it knocked me out. I'd have that, and then I'd fall asleep, and I'd maybe get 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep. And then if I woke up, probably 4 hours, because it was going through me every 4 hours, really. But at least I got some sleep. Whereas the other ones, it gave me a little bit of relief, but it still, I could feel that it was very uncomfortable, and I couldn't sleep with it. But the suppositories knocked me out. So when I got home, I thought, what am I going to do? Like, the pain's gone, like as in what I just explained, but I was still in like discomfort. But I knew my situation had changed. I'm thinking to myself, surely it's out, surely something's happened. So I literally sat myself down, and I had a litre and a half of drink, plus on top of all what I'd been drinking down there, and I literally drank until I felt sick. And then I sat there for an hour, and until I couldn't take it anymore. I was bursting. And then I went to the toilet, got the cup, and what you do, you got to see if you're passing any stones. And then I heard it. You didn't have to see it. You heard it. It's just like throwing a stone in a bucket, guys. It was that loud. And I just caught a glimpse of it, and I'll show you how big this stone was, guys. There you go. And that's come out, and I couldn't believe it, because they said it was 6 mil wide, and it turned out to be 10. But it's probably come out like sideways like a bullet, hasn't it? Like, so luckily it hasn't turned round in there. And so it was 6 minutes wide, but it was 9, it was 10. You'll see, I've took a measurement of it, but what a relief. What a relief. So when I say this stone has changed my life, because that is it now. I am not going to be eating any more crap. I'm going to start looking after myself. I'm really going to start looking after myself. I'm going to get my weight off. I'm going to do all my bad habits. I'm going to change. I'm going to start exercising. And I think another thing that can set off kidney stones. There's things that, in my opinion, only in my opinion, things that set off kidney stones. Sex is one. Sex will set it off. And then it's drinking. If you're dehydrated, that can start it off. Or if you're lifting, like they're the three like things that can set it off. Like for me, you know what I mean. Like so, the most important one would be the water. Drink plenty of fluids. If you're drinking loads of fluids, especially after you've eaten, guys, or you've had a bit of crap, make sure you drink plenty of fluids. Flush it all through. Maybe have like lemon juice or some apple cider vinegar, whatever you call it. They say that's good for it. Little nip of that with some water, but plenty of fluids. Drink all the time, and what'll happen? You'll flush your system, and you shouldn't really suffer. And at times, this is where I haven't looked after myself. I've gone out for the day, or I've been working, and I've noticed that I don't feel too clever, dehydrated. And then like you'll see it in when you go to the toilet, like you'll see a different colour, and that's what happens with me. I'm thinking, oh God, I haven't drunk all day, and yeah. So you've got to look after yourself, guys, and that's what I plan to do. This is what I plan to do in my life. So this stone, it has changed my life for the better. It's only the proof is only in the pudding, and we shall see. I'm 21 stone, guys. I said I was going to lose some weight when I was 20, but now I'm up to 21. I'm literally going to take it easy. I'm going to cruise over Christmas. Not got too mad, whereas I would. But as soon as I get past Christmas, I'll have my little desserts and a few little treats, but not go mad. And after Christmas, mate, that is when it all stops. And this old boy's going to get fit. Going to look fit, going to get healthy. And I don't know what I want to do. You've got to find like something that you enjoy doing as in exercising, but as long as it's little and often, like walking, obviously I don't like walking. I don't like exercising, but I'm going to have to find something, maybe like bikes, get on the bike and go for a ride, stuff like that. I like punching a bag and stuff like that, bit of sparring, maybe go back into that, you know what I mean? I used to do a lot of windsurfing. I don't know if I'll ever go back to that because in this country it's too cold. But yeah, there's options, but you've got to literally find something that you like and it keeps you active, and especially at my age at 60, because it's all downhill now. But if you maintain an healthy lifestyle and exercise, I don't see why not. You could have another good 20 years of being okay and like active. But if I don't, in 5 years I could be in a wheelchair, because like with all this, I've got diabetes. I've kind of cured myself of it. But then I kind of fall off the wagon and I go nutty, and that's why I've probably got myself into this situation, because I'll end up eating crap. And when I eat crap, I really go for it. You know what I mean? I figure to myself, I've fallen off. Let's like burn the wagon. I don't need it. You know what I mean? I don't need the wagon. Let's burn it. But not this time, guys. I'm gonna get really good at being like. Get my willpower back. I used to have it when I was younger. I was very competitive, and as you get older, like you lose your competitive streak. I've definitely lost it. But I'm gonna have to see this as a challenge to myself. I'm gonna have to really just try and see if I can get myself fit. The only way I can do it is me. No one else is going to do it, so I'm gonna have to do it for myself. So stick with me, guys, and see if I can do this, because like I said, I'm 21 stone. I want to get down to say 16 stone. Anywhere between 16 and 17 stone, which would be a miracle, which is 4 stone. If I lost it, got down to 16 stone, that'd be 5 stone, which would be incredible. I don't. Sometimes you can lose a lot of weight and it doesn't look good on you, does it? But I'm pretty sure 3 or 4 stone would help. I went and had like a suit measured up, and he said, "You're lucky. This is the last size we got." So again, he said to me, "You're a big fella," which obviously is insinuating I'm fat, because I said you can't dress a turd. I know what I look like, and in a suit, I look terrible. And my boy's getting married in February, so it gives me an opportunity to try and lose some weight for the wedding. And then later on in the year, all my family have started to run. They go on park runs and charity runs and stuff like that. And I know it's a bit of pie in the sky. I'm talking out of my arse, but I've set myself a target that I want to at least beat one of them. They do 5k, and let's see if I can do that, because I can't even run 5 yards. So we shall see. Stick with me, guys. Laters.